Hello, my name's Hughes5 and welcome to a weird story time. Why not? Because I couldn't think of anything else to do. So why not? Let's talk about embarrassing things I've done over the years. And the first one, I went with this one because hopefully clickbait. This is a story of how I accidentally fell face first into a woman's chest. Yeah. Disclaimer, it's not as exciting as you would think. But let's talk about it. So, 2 years ago now? 2 years ago? No, about a year ago? A little over a year ago. I was with this company that did walks and hikes and this, that and the other with all sorts of people. And that particular day, the day that this happened, we were with a group of about five to six boys, 5 to 6 men, including myself, and then 2 women. Now, one of the women, she had new shoes, she had new walking boots, and she was very afraid to get them muddy of all things. Even that particular day, it rained all the night before, and there was high chances of rain happening again, and it did. The rain came, and luckily we had overalls, not overalls, what are they called? Waterproofs. Overall waterproofs. So we had that, so that was something. But me being me, and trying to be a kind soul that I am, I said to her, hey, I'll just carry you in the bits that you think that you're gonna ruin your boots, because that's how I am. Let's try and impress the women with how much I can carry. It came to this bit, and it was somewhat narrow. It was a somewhat narrow, very muddy, narrow bit. I walked across it, and there was 2 portions. It wasn't very high. It wasn't very high between this narrow walk bit and the 2 slopes that it turned into, because it was sloped, and then it had this narrow bit which was about foot and a half wide, and I walked across it just fine. And she was there. She was like, she's looking down at her boots and was like, I don't want to do this. They're gonna get muddy and this, that, and the other. So I walked back across this foot and a half gap. And I was like, don't worry, I'll pick you up. I promised I would pick you up. So that's what I did. I swept her legs from under her and I picked her up. And she was light. She was really light. Even with a backpack full of water, food, and other hiking equipment, she was light. And of course she got a little embarrassed because I was carrying her, and no one else really noticed apart from the other woman, in other words her friend. No one else noticed, but she did. So her friend called out and said, look at this, as I'm starting to walk with her. I took 2 steps, perfectly fine, 2 steps. But because I couldn't see where I was going, where my feet were placing, I accidentally put my right foot too close to the slope. So I slid down it. My foot slid down it. My knee buckled because I wasn't expecting it. And I collapsed to my knees with her still in my arms. And somehow, I managed to move my arms far enough apart to just clunk her in the chest. Yeah, like seriously, her back, well, her rear end was the only thing that really got muddy because I still was holding her. Both of my legs got covered in mud, and somehow I just slammed my head into her chest. And as soon as I noticed, I lifted my head up. I just looked at the group of people laughing, and I was like, well. So I stood back up. I carried her back onto the less muddy path, put her down, face completely red. Her face, I'm pretty sure, was red as well, just because of what happened. And yeah, her bottom half was covered in mud, and my bottom half was just nothing but mud. So in other words, be a gentleman and do what's good for your gentlemanly duties, but make sure you can see your walkway, or otherwise you will probably slide down a slope and make yourself look like a fool. And yeah, that's pretty much it, really. That thing, after it happened, I apologized practically all day. Because it happened around about 12, maybe coming up to 1, and I was still with her for the next 4 hours. So I apologized a lot. She was okay with it. Everyone found it hilarious. She was fine with it. Like, her boots didn't get muddy, and she was wearing waterproofs, so she was fine. Like, her clothes were fine, but it was something. It was something. Like I said, no one else noticed. No one was going to notice apart from her friend decided to turn around to see where she was. And that's when she noticed me picking her up and starting to walk. And oh my god, it was going so well. 2 steps. It went. She wasn't heavy. Like, it wasn't even that. It wasn't that I couldn't support her weight, because she was stupidly light. Like, honestly, she was scarily light thinking about it, but it was just because it was all of like a foot, maybe a 1.5 feet wide path, extremely muddy path with 2 slopes. Again, the slopes were all of, I think, 1/2 foot tall before you hit solid ground again. Like, it wasn't a huge fall or anything. It's just because it was just quick, and the impact sort of buckled my knee, and because my right knee went, which was the leg I was striding with, my left knee went with it, and then somehow my arms moved in a way, and then also my body moved in a way for me to just get a face full. Again, she was perfectly fine with it. Like, they found it hilarious, she found it hilarious. Me, I just found it really embarrassing and apologized a lot. So yeah, story times with Hughes. If you want more of these, and trust me, a lot of them are really embarrassing and cringy stuff in a way. But if you want more of them, let me know. I'm happy to share. So yeah, I'm gonna go edit this now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.